Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Brian Yetzer. I'm the president of Yetzer Studio out of Philadelphia, and I'm very excited to be here at Augmented World Expo to talk about the Terracotta Warriors and how we brought them to life using augmented reality. So just a little bit about myself. I am primarily a 3D artist, designer, and educator, and I have a passion for training and education. So the last line pretty much sums it up. Simplify complex procedures using art, design, and technology. I'm a big believer of left and right side of brain. You know, augmented reality is normally left side, right? It's technology, so a lot of early adopters tend to be a lot left-brained. We bring the left and right together to create a product that's aesthetically pleasing, yet technically sophisticated. And I've been around the block with augmented reality for a number of years. Presented in Izmir, Turkey at the Nikola Tesla Symposium. So if you're a fan of Nikola Tesla, I'm a board member in Philadelphia, promoting Tesla and his renewable energy philosophies using augmented reality. So for a number of years, I've been involved in augmented reality. I saw this a long time ago. It went from rendering 3D animation for static playback. Then I saw webcam augmented reality, and I said, wow, look at these mobile phones. They're going to be fast enough to process really complex graphics and animation in real time. Henceforth, the Nikola Tesla AR app and interactive posters. So again, I'm passionate about using interactive and digital content to educate and inspire. That is my modus operandi, and that's why I'm excited to be here today to present to you the Terracotta Warriors AR app. So this is just a still, but I'm going to go ahead and play back a little demo video from the project so you get a little better idea of what this project entails. Is anybody familiar with the Terracotta Warriors by chance? Okay, good. They're pretty old, 2,200 years old, and they weren't really discovered until 1975. A farmer had accidentally dug them up, discovered the pit. Here is a pit of warriors. They were all unique. And they had a purpose, that is to protect the first emperor of China in the afterlife. Not only were these statues in the burial pit, but also these objects such as the birds and weapons and musical instruments. So how do you piece history together to make sense of it? Well, it happened to make its way to, these statues happened to make their way to the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. And if you've not heard of the Franklin Institute, it's one of the premier science education centers in the country. And with a name of like Benjamin Franklin, it's got a stamp of approval. This guy, he knows what he's talking about. He's made history, and in fact, Franklin Institute makes history with technology. They embrace technology, science, and of course, art. So you can see here, this is the banner. So the exhibition ran from September 30th, 2017 through March 4th of this year, and it's enhanced with augmented reality. But at first, it did not appear at the Franklin Institute. It actually was at the Pacific Science Center in Seattle. And you say, well, what did you have to do with Seattle? Object tracking is why we were there. Nobody at this point has discussed object tracking. Yesterday, at least, here at AWE, object tracking, not really on people's radar yet. Image targets, AR kit, AR core. Everybody now is an augmented reality designer within a year. We're already in object tracking land. How do you object track a 2-meter tall statue from 2,200 years ago? The problem is we only had 2 months to put this app together. So we had to go to Seattle and we had to test, how do you object track a statue? And this just happened to be on the weekend, the busiest weekend before it closes. And it was just a mob of people. So here we are performing tests, and I'll show you some examples of that in the upcoming slides. So along with Seattle, there was the photogrammetry team that went out there to scan the statues. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the video of the scanning process, and we can discuss that and its importance. This was the resulting statues. So we ended up using 8 of these statues in the exhibit. We also had to 3D model the weapons. They had to be accurate. So one of Yetzer Studio's specializations is to interface with subject matter experts to pull that information out of the subject matter expert and interpret that information into 3D and make it interactive and animate it. We're not going to cut any corners. It's got to be accurate. What did we use for an SDK? We used Wikitude. Wikitude 7.1 specifically, and with 7.1 it allowed for recognition and tracking version 1.0. We also integrated image targets and instant tracking. So with image recognition, alongside of the statues in the exhibition, there were these image targets where visitors could position their device over the image target, and it says touch to explore there, but the idea was they could not huddle around the image target, but actually position their device over the image target and then detach the model from it and walk away with it and explore the model even further. Here are the image targets. The image targets appear in the brochure. So visitors of the exhibit can take that home with them, and it also exists here on a drink coaster. So during the gala event where they had the celebrities and dignitaries of Philadelphia and New York and East Coast, they had drink coasters, and a lot of people are like, well, what's the drink coaster all about? But it's an augmented reality drink coaster. So just to demo the event, or the app, here's what the main menu looks like. So we select the first option, and you launch AR. Now we have a choice between picture mode and scan mode. This is very important. I'll discuss this in a minute. I'm going to choose picture mode just to demo the functionality of the image target on the drink coaster. So touch screen and rotate and scale. Now, I could position the phone over the image target, and what happens if I decide not to? Detach mode, continue exploring warrior. So at this point I can zoom in to the warrior, I can select the crossbow. There we go. Get more information about the crossbow. Zoom into the crossbow. Reset. And just get more information about the models. So that's what image target or image recognition was all about within the app. So let's go back to the presentation slides. One of the challenges we had was to make sure the client understood that image targets can't be glossy. And also the official, featureless official was such a monster. He was such a bear to track, from image targets to object recognition. He's featureless and smooth. There's also, I'll show you this real quickly, instant tracking. If everybody's all about AR Kit and AR Core, that wasn't even around when we started developing this app. So with Mobile Warriors, I was able to pitch to the Franklin Institute. I said, why not have instant tracking? They said, we love it. Can we take pictures with the Warriors? I said, yes. Of course you say yes. It can be done. Anything can be done. So what you can do is you can go out to Mobile Warriors mode. And create a little army of warriors. I'll just say we'll position him here, over there. And what they wanted was the ability to take a photo of the warriors. So now it's saved to camera roll, and people, families can pose with the warriors, and they can share that with their friends and family. It went viral. That was the virality of the app. As you can see here, they were posting, oh, here are the warriors on the station platform. Here are the warriors in this part of the city, that part of the city, and another part of the country. But it's really about object recognition. I would just want to kind of finish this presentation discussing, like, Yetzer Studio made a historic, I'll just plainly say, like, we just crushed it on a historic augmented reality level, because object recognition was not meant at version 1.0 to track 2,200-year-old statues the way we did. Guess what happened? We had to use this demo of a little toy truck. You may have seen it before if you've researched it. There it is, the little toy truck. And you're like, how do you grab the information? How do you compare scale? How do you get to scale tracking from such a small object to what we've tested on with other statues? So we had to perform our photogrammetry ourselves. I could go on and on about this object tracking. I tell you what, it was an absolute monster, because what happened in Seattle was we tested, we had to throw it all away. Why? Because the lighting was different at the Franklin Institute. Everything had been tossed. So here we are. You can see on the right side, the illustration, we took pictures from around the perimeter of each statue accordingly. One at ground level, one above, so we can produce what you see here. So once we cleaned up the model, we ended up with something like this. If you're already familiar with image target creation, you're creating a point cloud, basically. So this is a 3D point cloud that we're creating. Quickly go to the video. And this is what was created. And it's very slow, right? The animation's slow, the camera animation is slow, because we needed to pick up as much detail as we could from the model. And this lighting is baked in, right, from photogrammetry, right there on scene at the Franklin. Those statues can't move 3 inches, it would throw off tracking. The lighting could not change or it would throw off tracking. This is the resulting point cloud. Without going to this video, I have 1 minute. After calibrating, we created our own custom calibration tool. We were able to position weapons in the hands of the warriors, and everybody had a good time at that point. So you can actually use object recognition as the statues are targets. We're not constrained to image targets anymore. We had challenges such as on-site development only. We had visitor interference, security measures. I could talk to you about, after this presentation, I'd love to talk to you about the cavalryman. It was a huge ordeal. Someone broke off a thumb. $4.5 million. Someone put it in the sock drawer, from my understanding, but I could be wrong. It's actually an AR, that we preserved it in augmented reality. The thumb is in augmented reality. So security was really beefed up following that. Some of the object recognition considerations, of course, lighting, shadows, specularity. Wickitude, let's bring Wickitude into the equation again. The future meets the past. Think about this, 2,200 years ago meets 21st century, and they posted about it in social media using object recognition. We integrated analytics, so the Franklin Institute gets feedback on what worked, what didn't work. 200,000 visitors of the exhibition, 34,000 app downloads. Covered in New York Times, Philadelphia Inquirer, CBS Philly, great press. There it is in the New York Times print, as well as the online version. And speak to the great people at Wikitude following the presentation here, or at the, I should say, at the Expo opening. They've improved their SDK. They can tell you more about their features. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.